Welcome to Marketing and Mindset for Wellness Coaches, the podcast for health coaches and wellness entrepreneurs just like you who are building a business, making the world a healthier place, and designing a first-class life. I'm your host, Kim Foster, MD and certified business coach, and I'm on a mission to help you up-level your strategy and raise your mindset so you can truly thrive and grow your business. Let's get started. Welcome to today's episode. I have got a special treat for you today. You are going to get to listen in to my chat with a very special guest, a wellness coach and nutrition expert who has built an enormously successful business specializing in gut health. Jayne Williams is a certified integrative health and nutrition expert and longtime advocate of health and nutrition. And after having suffered for many years herself with gut and stress-related issues, Jayne empowered herself to learn everything that she could to get healthy, and in turn has made it her life's work to help others to do the same. She now helps her clients to improve their health in a clear-cut, attainable approach by gradually introducing healthy eating habits and living practices specific to their body and lifestyle. And most importantly, she works with each client to create a personalized plan of action that supports both their short and long-term health goals. In addition, however, Jayne is also a business coach, mentoring wellness practitioners on how to grow their businesses. So in our chat today, Jayne and I talked about exactly how she built her wellness coaching business to the success that it is today. And most importantly, we talked a lot about the power of visibility, especially when it comes to video. We talked a lot about how to build your confidence, including several hacks and tips for getting started with video and growing your camera confidence. Jayne is similar to me in placing equal importance on mindset and strategy, especially when it comes to marketing through video. And so we cover so many of those things and more. I'm really excited for you to listen in. I think you are going to love hearing from Jayne and learning all the fantastic tips and tricks that she's got to share. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, well, hi, Jayne. I am so excited to have you here today. And thank you so much for being willing to join me here and talk about all of the amazing work that you do.
Kim, I'm so excited to be with you as well. You know, I think so fondly of you, and I love all the work that you do too. So this is so exciting to just get to chat and share hopefully some great information to empower so many people.
Exactly. Yeah. And thank you so much for that. This is going to be great. I mean, there's just a ton of things that I want to ask you and learn about from you. So let's just dive into that. I mean, really, for starters, I would love for you to just tell us a bit about your story. You know, for listeners who are new to you and your work, just give us a bit of background about you and what has brought you to this point. I would love to hear how you got into this whole field and really what you love about your work.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, I love everything about my work. I really do. But no, my journey started, really going back into my childhood. I was 5 years old when my parents got divorced, and I didn't know it at the time, but I was a bottler. And that bottling turned into anxiety and stress. And I carried that through my teenage years. And kind of coupled with a poor diet, and there's no blame game here. A lot of the things that I chose to eat, it was a choice, but that kind of manifested over time into a lot of stomach gut issues. And it kind of came to a head in my 20s, in my mid 20s, when I was having incredible pain, so much to the effect that I ended up in the emergency room. I ended up having a colonoscopy. They thought I had like irritable bowel disease, some sort of autoimmune. And thankfully, I was diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome and not disease or an autoimmune. But I still, at the time, way back, this is now going, not that I'm looking to date myself, but this is, about 20 years ago, nobody was talking about gut health. And I basically was handed a thing of pills and basically said, here's a prescription. take these. Nobody talked about diet. Nobody talked about lifestyle modification. That wasn't a thing back then. Nobody talked even about poop, right? We didn't talk about poop. Now it's such a big thing to talk about. I love to talk about poop. Tell me about what your poop looks like. But no, seriously, back then it was just, okay, here's the pills. Good luck. So I took them religiously for 6 years. And, I really didn't do that much to modify my diet. And it really kind of came to a head for me when I was trying to get pregnant with, I had met this guy, we fell in love, and, he was actually in medical school, and I was having an issue getting pregnant, and I had a miscarriage, and I'm on this medication. And, I just started to ask myself some questions, and I really just started to say, what's going on here? Why do I feel constantly, I just don't feel great. I don't enjoy living in my body. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel comfortable. Why am I having so much pain? And that's when I started to really deep dive into nutrition, to the world of nutrition, and the little bits that were out there around gut health. I'm like, gosh, could this be connected? Can this all be connected? This brain, gut, is there a connection there? Is this why I'm feeling anxious? I have butterflies in my stomach. I'm always feeling slightly off. So I just kind of started to deep dive, and I changed up my nutrition. I started to eat a lot healthier, a lot cleaner, got off the diet bandwagon. I lost 10 pounds, and eventually I got myself off the prescription meds, and I got pregnant. And all of those things, like, it wasn't an overnight thing by any means, but it just, all these little light bulbs were going off for me. And I was kind of like stuck in this place, like, wow, this is amazing. Just by changing my diet, modifying my lifestyle, I feel so much better. Why have I never focused on this? Why has it taken me so long? And that's when I really started to, look into the idea of, and I heard about the idea of functional medicine and integrative medicine, which I had not really heard about, and started to follow some guys that were doing this type of work, were functional MDs. And that's when I heard about nutrition school. And I'm like, I need to go back to school. I want to learn more about this. And that's kind of where my journey started. So that's kind of how everything kind of came to be around the idea of nutrition. And you as an MD know that in medical school, you get little to no training around nutrition, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and my husband was the same exact way. He had very little knowledge around nutrition. And nobody talked about integrative or functional nutrition and what that was, this idea of whole body. And so it was just, you have patients, you have multiple patients. It's, not getting to the root of the cause. It's, treating as best you can symptomatically, obviously, doing what you need to do there's such an amazing place and need for traditional medicine, but there's so much that we can do to empower and heal ourselves. And that's what my journey taught me. And that is what I teach my clients, and what I put out there in the world. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do.
I love that. That is just so great. Yeah. I can definitely hear your passion for sure. So, okay. So then tell us, what did you do with it from there? You obviously, that journey obviously made a huge impact on your own life.
Yeah.
And then, and then tell me more about what happened after you did your own deep dive to nutrition, like to bring you to actually coaching and helping other women. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I went back to school. I went to the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, which was wonderful. I loved that program. It was a year-long program at the time. And I just, again, that exposure of so many, functional MDs, all of that, just really, it was a great foundation, but it just left me wanting more. So I guess I'm an education certification junkie. I don't know what you want to call me. I have such a quest to learn. That's what I love. And nutrition, it's such an emerging science and there's so much to learn. So I just kept going. I decided I wanted to go to grad school. So I did post-grad work in clinical nutrition. I've done gut health certifications, personal training certifications, women's health certifications, and I'm on my way. Hopefully someday, I would like to get my CNS, but I'm not there yet. And, my career started to take off. And how it started was I actually had met an MD who was practicing on the functional medicine side. He needed some help on the nutrition side in his office. So I went to work for him. And that was an amazing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That was an amazing experience for me because it gave me an opportunity to really get an in-depth view on how a functional medicine doctor kind of walks through with lab work. And that was incredibly interesting to me to kind of really see the inside clinical aspect of nutrition and how to read labs, the types of functional labs that are available. There's so many, and there's a lot more coming out. And also, I really do have a passion for gut health. So that was such a great area just to see the emerging science and, the GI mapping coming out and the gut zoomers and, this full like macro view going down to a micro view. And it was really interesting and see how those tests help to treat, and even through nutrition, how to utilize, proper nutrition, utilizing those tests. So it started there. And then I was also introduced to a gym owner who wanted to bring in nutrition to the gym to aid his trainers. So I started to do some work with them as well. And so I've had an amazing opportunity to work in a gym setting, in a chiropractor, with a chiropractor in his setting. He opened up a wellness office with a functional medicine doctor. And then to also, really kind of bring home and do my own online nutrition work as well, and to build out programs, which I'm also really passionate about. So I feel very fortunate to have had all of the experience that I've had, and now to be able to build programs off of that experience to help women who are coming into the field, as well as on the nutrition side. I think I'll always see nutrition clients because I really enjoy doing that one-on-one work.
Yeah, it sounds like you got a lot of traction, especially maybe those early stages of building your business by being, leveraging a lot of those collaborative relationships and building those symbiotic kinds of relationships.
Yes, I cannot say enough about that. And I know you talk a lot about that too. I love listening to your podcast. But it's true how important it is to cultivate. And sometimes when when you first come into the field, you need to do like several different things just to get a feel for what really speaks to you and how you want to work, what kind of work you want to be doing, and I'm glad that I did that because it gave me an opportunity to really dive into a number of different areas, create those connections, and, collaborate with different types of doctors and, wellness practitioners, and figure out what I wanted. And that has been part of my journey that now I take on as, I'm building out my own practice and what I want it to look like. And I consider myself an entrepreneur as well. And I think all health coaches, nutritionists, wellness practitioners in general should do that as well, because there's a lot of opportunities out there and you just have to find what's speaking to you and what works for you. The most important thing is to dive in authentically and getting to know yourself in the process. And if you're doing that, if you're, just staying authentic to yourself, you'll drive yourself in the right direction, in the direction you need to go, and you'll build off of that, and your audience will find you because you're being authentic. And that's the amazing part of it. And I love the work that I do. and I've grown so much. And because of that, it's opened up so many new doors for me.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I agree completely. Authenticity is totally the key. I'm kind of curious, like, what do you think was, if there was one key to success for you personally as a wellness coach, or something that you did in particular that really helped to set you apart? What would you say?
One thing that helps set me apart from everyone else, I mean, I just have to believe that for me, I think that, and this is what I teach on as well, it's finding your niche. I really feel like everyone is so beautifully authentic in themselves, and they have their own story, and it's utilizing your story, because we've all walked different paths, and regardless if it's similar to someone else's, it's still different. You still have something, we all have certain gifts. So really doing the work, there's some work around that, and diving in. And that's why having an amazing mentor, a coach, someone to help you to do that is so important. So you can really get to kind of define and refine, who you are, where you want to go, telling your story. A lot of it has to do with being able to tell your story. And then around that, building out, what you want, what speaks to you, what do you want to share? And, some of that is important through obviously education. I think that's incredibly important. A lot of it is unlayering, doing that work. Another part of it is surrounding yourself with empowering people that lift you up and guide you and give you the tools that you need to be successful. So it's a little bit of that. That's all the magic sauce.
Yes, I love all of that. There's good stuff in there for sure. But especially, I mean, that piece about defining your niche, like really dialing in on who you are, who you can help, how you're going to help them, all of those pieces. And especially, I mean, I know for a lot of listeners of this podcast, they'll have heard me talk about that a lot, getting very specific. And also goes along with what we're just talking about with authenticity too. It's really tapping in who you authentically are, who you can specifically help. But it is kind of scary at the beginning for people to dial into that, I would say.
It's true. And using the word scary, I think it is a lack of confidence too. We're all there. We all start somewhere around there because, for a variety of reasons, with, do I have the degrees that I need? Do I have the experience? Do I have the knowledge? I mean, we get into our own heads, and that can be very paralyzing. So that's why it's so important to surround yourself and to work on that self-confidence.
Yeah, actually, that's the perfect segue into what I was hoping that we talk about a little bit, which is around the idea of visibility and confidence, especially on video, because you are just so awesome. I mean, this is just such a strength of yours. I really enjoyed watching all the places that you have been showing up, all the appearances, and you've just done such an amazing job with that. And I also know that for a lot of listeners of this podcast in particular, being visible and showing up on video, showing your face, all of that stuff can be a real challenge. It can be an obstacle. So I'd love if we could kind of talk about that. And if you have any, tips and strategies for people, what would you say to people who are struggling with some fears of visibility?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And gosh, I believe that video and storytelling is more important now than it ever has before. I mean, it's always been important, and it's a beautiful visual medium that all of us, especially in this space, need to know how to do. But given the world that we currently live in and just how vital video really is, from Zoom videos, conference calls, to television now that's, taken on a new kind of meaning, and how important it is. So it's so important to work on that confidence and have that visual. People watch you for 3 reasons: information, likability, right? Which includes an enthusiastic, energetic person, and trust. So those are the three reasons why people are watching you. Now, notice I didn't say content. So content is super important, of course, right? But likability and trust keep them coming back. They keep them coming back, and consistency. And there's all consistency wrapped. It's a beautiful bundle of, consistency wrapped around that. But that is so important. And for us that, have online or live online or have a good portion of our businesses online, you need that piece. You need to know how to be on video. You need to practice. And that's really what it boils down to. Number one, practice, practice, practice. Get your phone out, get out there, create a fun hobby videos, that you love, that are easy. Start there, become confident around that, and then start getting it out there. And this is what I tell my clients all the time, my business clients, I tell them, I'm like, just start. You know what? Stop overthinking. We get into our heads. We create the scarcity mindset that we can't do it. We're not good at it. All of these pieces, right? So you just got to practice. You've got to get it out there. And it's amazing. Like again, we're going to go back to that authentic word, but if you come and live from a very authentic place, sharing your journey, sharing your story, explaining why you're doing what you're doing, providing, good information, all of that, it's important to do all of that. But if you do that consistently, you will start to drive the people that are meant to find you. And that's truth. That's really honestly the truth of it. And then you build confidence, right? Because truly it's not about us. That's where we get so stuck in our head. It's about the information that we're providing. And I'm going to tell you something right now, and I'm going to hold every single person that's listening to this accountable. This is what I'll stick it in everybody's head, right? We have a responsibility to do that. I really firmly believe that we have a responsibility as practitioners to share that information, and people need it more now than ever. I'm not talking about personal opinions. I'm not talking about, the coulds, the woulds, the shoulds. Provide information that's truly going to empower and help people. Tools that will help people to heal, will help people to empower themselves, to be healthy, stay healthy, get healthy, all of those pieces. People want to hear that. There's so much going on right now. And we need empowering, strong, healthy, happy, joyful messages coming out, because people truly are in mental wellness more than ever before is going to be, what we're going to hear about in 2021. And mental wellness and physical wellness are so connected. Mental wellness is the new physical wellness. And we now know that, that is a brain gut connection. So we need to share. We need to share all of these pieces, and pieces that speak so potently to us, and if you come from that place, then confidence will exude as well.
Yeah. Oh my God. That is so powerful. I love all of that. There's so much stuff in there, and certainly the whole mindset of, it's not about you. And I think that's the thing that keeps people get so stuck in terms of showing up on video, because they're just looking so inwards. Right. We all do this, of course, is we're thinking, okay, well, how do I look? How do I sound? What am I saying? All of that. But it is just exactly what you said. It's so much about, it's not about you. Get over yourself. It's really so much about who you can reach, who you can inspire with just something small. Sometimes just the simplest thing can actually touch a life and make a difference. And we all need to get over ourselves and not worry how our hair looks today. Just get on video and reach out.
Or not making mistakes, not doing any of that. I actually love to watch people who have little tiny bloopers, because it's very human, and people want that human connection. They don't want to see somebody that is so polished that, they can't relate. So relatability is really important. But like you said, yes, people want simple shares. They want something that's easy to implement, and they want something that's shareable. So that is content wise, that's really important. But if you get out there, and just practice speaking to, your phone. You should be with video 80 to 90% of the time. You should be looking at it at the actual camera. Why? Because, and make sure you're looking at the camera too. That's another big thing and I am saying this because I am guilty of doing this, my friends, totally. But I have done it plenty of times, but people want to feel that connection and they need that visual. I'm not talking like, a deep stare, and obviously we all need to blink, but 80 to 90% of the time, you should really be looking and connecting. And the more you practice that, the better you'll get at it. And it's, some of it is definitely a learned thing. I have learned over the years, and even through speaking engagements, how to connect with people in the audience. I actually love that. I love to feel a connection with people in the audience, and to know that what I'm saying is reaching them. You don't get that with the video, right? You don't get that immediate feedback. You get that in the comments and you get that with people responding and knowing, but just practice. And, again, inflection is really important. Inflection, if you are happy, and give that inflection in your voice of happiness and show it on your face. And, if it's something that's frustrating, again, give that inflection of frustration and show it. And that's truly a human, authentic piece. People will feel that on the other side. And that will help you to build confidence too. These are all little tiny confidence nuggets, gold nuggets that we all need to practice and to learn. But nothing tells a story faster and easier and connection-wise more than video, especially right now. So remember that. And even if you look at, IG right now, any kind of social media handle, that is a very fast way to cultivate. Reels is huge right now on IG, right? Because it's very shareable and it's quick information. We talk about simple information. So people want something that's easily digestible, simple, shareable, all of those pieces.
Right. And especially that element of sharing your humanity, like not being afraid of, being a human, making a mistake. You don't have to have a flawless, perfectly polished presentation and be like completely prepared, just showing up. And yeah, if you mess up your words or hesitate or you're not sure, it's all good. In fact, just like you said, I think that increases the relatability. It actually makes that connection deeper because that it's a real human being who's talking on that, right?
It's so true. I'll give you an example, just something fun for people to think about. But I did a reel a few months back showing how to de-seed a pomegranate. I had pomegranate seeds flying all over my kitchen. I kid you not. It was so funny. I accidentally dropped it, the whole thing. But I decided to to leave it. And I got mad views on that. People were sharing it like crazy. And never in a million years would I have thought that, it would have been something. I mean, it's a really simple technique. I was just being, life and goofy and whatever, but it came across thankfully as, funny, as engaging, and also helpful. So
right. Perfect.
That's a perfect example of to just go for it. And the other thing is, one thing that, again, our humanistic tendencies tends to do is we'll create something and then keep it in draft form or hold on to it and say, meh, get it out there. If you really feel it's something that's not going to be helpful or you feel bad about it, that's one thing. But 9 times out of 10, it's just us holding ourselves back. We tend to tweak, overthink all of those pieces. Get it out there. It's amazing what kind of response you'll have, especially if you're coming, again, from, a place of knowing, being authentic, and really, truly wanting to help.
Right, exactly. And not being so precious about it because it's hardly the last video, or it shouldn't be, hopefully, the last video that you're going to share, right? So just get it out there and move forward and keep doing more. And like you said, practice practice, because that's where the comfort and confidence comes from, right?
Absolutely. That's where the magic happens. The more that you do it, the better you feel about things, the faster you do it. It's amazing. Before you know it, what took you a while to kind of put out there, you were overthinking. Now you're creating like, and I love to do this in here's another little, quick tip for everybody. We have notes. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure every type of phone has this, has like a notes section. So I am constantly writing ideas. I have an ideas notes section, and I'll do like for video content, I'll do like tips. So I'll constantly, if I hear something, if I think of something, if I read trends, I love to, check trends on Google, anything like that. If I read an article, I'm constantly writing stuff down for ideas. I mean, you should never be out of ideas. There's so much content and ideas and thoughts out there about what you can, and anything that speaks to you. So I encourage you to do that, because then you always have fresh ideas going.
That's a great idea, because so many people say, they'd like to do videos, but not really sure what they would talk about or whatever. So if you take away that decision and you've already generated a huge list of potential ideas, then you no longer have that excuse.
Exactly. And I think that sometimes, again, what holds us back from posting things on social media, or from doing lives, or from doing videos, things like that, because we're like, oh, what do I have to talk about? Oh my gosh, the ideas are endless, limitless. So, and if you like to geek out like I do, I'm sure you're like this too, Kim, because I know you well. I love to do Google alerts. I don't know. Do you do that?
Of course.
Okay. So everybody, get your Google alert on, whatever topics interest you, in health and wellness, and make sure that you set up a Google alert for that. My gosh, there's studies that are coming out like every single day, and people talking about, the latest in metabolic health or gut health, thyroid health, women's hormones, whatever it is, autoimmune. I mean, the list could go on and on. So that's a great place for inspiration and stuff to talk about too, if that on the science side interests you. You don't even have to pull from the science side so much of that. Just get some really good information and utilize some simple tips around it. But again, information is everywhere.
Oh yeah, there is no shortage. Once you start thinking along those lines, there's just endless topics that you could talk about. So that's awesome. That's a great tip. So many helpful strategies in there. I am really hoping that, if you're listening, and you're going to really start to take Jayne's advice to heart and get out of your own way and just start making videos, because there's some really good tips in there just for getting started, like you say. So, I mean, I talk to you forever, Jayne, of course.
I can talk to you.
We are just about.
You are, I know.
But
you and I can talk about so many things.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to cut ourselves off every time we get on the phone. But I appreciate you taking the time to share all of this amazing information. I would also love for you to tell our listeners where they can go to learn more about you. What are you working on? It's a little insight to what is coming up from you, and where can people go to learn more about you?
Thank you so much. Yes, you can find me at JayneWilliams.com. It's JAYNE Williams.com, just in case there's a Y in there. You can also find me on social media at Jayne_Williams Wellness on IG, and on Facebook, on Pinterest, all those places and spaces. I have got a new program coming out that I'm really excited about. Right now, I have a 28-day online nutrition program. If you're interested in just kind of walking into better health, working on simple tweaks, nourishing your body. So I have the 28-day Nourished Body program. And then I also am coming out with a 4-month business mentorship, which I am really excited about. I've been mentoring wellness practitioners now, from health coaches to nutritionists to mindset coaches, you name it, for the past few years. And I'm finally building out a program. And I'm really excited about that too. Kim, you know a lot about it because I work with you on strategy work around it. Kim's amazing. I can't say enough about her and her programs, and just her as a person, just incredible. So thank you so much for that. And so there's a wait list up right now, and I'm opening it up. I'm launching it on February 1st. So I'm really excited about that program. And it's basically a 4-month a small group. I'm keeping it to 10 women so I can really do a lot of personalized work. And we're going to kind of hone in. It's everything. Some of the things we talked about today around confidence building, around kind of building your brand, building out programs. I'm really going to help you to dial in and to make money, which is, really important too, which it's all about. But
it sure is.
But really, truly how to kind of zoom in and to dial into who you are, what you want to do, where you want to go next. Maybe you're kind of in that transitional, that gap, or maybe you're just moving online. So this is a great course, a foundational course for that. And I put in lots of extras, lots of bonus work around confidence and camera and television and videos and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited about it.
That program sounds so amazing. I'm super excited for you to launch that, Jayne.
Thank you. Me too. And I so appreciate all of your beautiful help around it. It's definitely been in the works for quite some time. So I'm excited.
Awesome. It's just been such a pleasure to have you here. You've been so generous sharing all of these amazing tips and ideas and strategies. And I thank you so much for sharing yourself with us, Jayne.
Thank you so much for having me. And I just hope there was a few great takeaways for everyone listening today.
Absolutely. Have an amazing day. I will talk to you again, Jayne. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So wasn't that great? I loved so many of the things that Jayne shared, from mindset perspectives to actual practical tips and tactical strategies when it comes to showing up on video and boosting your visibility and confidence, so many things. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed that. I have included all the links to everything Jayne and I talked about inside the show notes, including her new program and where you can find out more about Jayne and connect with her, which you definitely want to do because she is amazing. Now, I have one quick announcement to make, which is that I'm about to close the doors to my training and certification program, the Wellness Coach Academy. I have been enrolling all this week, and I'm so excited to get all my new students started. So if you have been looking for a training and certification program that's going to give you everything you need to become a women's wellness coach and build a thriving, profitable business, then this program is for you, and it is not too late to join. In as little as 6 months, you will be a certified coach ready to step into the career of your dreams, a career that will give you the fulfilling, freedom-based lifestyle that you have always wanted. Everything you need to know about what is included in the program and how it works is over at wellnesscoachacademy.com. And please, like I said, don't delay because the doors will be closing on Thursday, January the 21st at midnight Eastern time. Now, if you are listening right now and that date has actually passed, just go ahead and click the button on that page to put your name on the waitlist for the next time that I reopen the doors to enrollment, which will be in June of this year. I'll include the link in the show notes to make it nice and easy for you. Okay, that's a wrap. Have a fantastic week, and I will talk to you again soon. Thanks so much for listening. If you are ready to build a coaching business that gives you freedom and flexibility and allows you to make a meaningful impact in the world, but you're not really sure how to get started or what you need to do to attract the perfect clients and grow your income, then let me be your coach. I would love to teach you my exact framework, my proven method for how I created a freedom-based business for myself and how I've helped dozens of clients do the same thing and create a life that is better than their dreams. Get started by heading over to drkimfoster.com/business training, and there you can sign up for my free online training called The 4-Part Formula for Replacing Your 9-to-5 Income with a Coaching Business You Love.